The following is a Xander brand podcast presentation. Although subjects, topics, and featured people are screened, all thoughts, actions, opinions, endorsements, mentions, or other statements are being made from the people featured and do not necessarily reflect those of the Xander brand digital family, or cast and crew of the Xander brand digital family.
Yeah, I'm Zeke Dilligaf. I used to do a lot of videos. I don't really do a lot of videos anymore because normally we just do audio. So this is a little bit of a first for me.
You've never done a podcast with me in video. Well, we did do that one for the Zeke
Did
show.
we? I was looking at a couple. I can't remember. I don't know the in jokes for them though. I don't.
Yeah, that's the only
one thing.
Yeah, we're gonna be, and I've talked about this with several different people. They keep
My JTP shirt.
You made a Just Talking podcast shirt?
No, I bought one from you years ago. I still have it.
I don't remember making one.
You did?
But yeah, we worked on a little thing called the Just Talking podcast as the So some new stuff that has happened this week. Pfizer has developed this COVID vaccine, which number one has been approved in the UK, and I think the other day they started rolling it out there. And then quickly after, the FDA and CDC put together a plan, and I think last night they approved the vaccine in America, and they started rolling it out today. This really is, wow, our government can actually do things fast, you know? But yeah,
so is this supposed to be a political podcast?
No, it's, yeah, let's do this.
I have a friend who's been incredibly excited about that game, and I think he's played it, but he hasn't shared his thoughts on it yet. But I have definitely seen some things about how it's just like you just can't handle that.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it too. Whenever I saw the headline, I was like, oh yeah, this is like a big thing. But yeah, like PlayStation is starting to give refunds on it, like no questions asked. I don't know what Xbox is doing, but apparently that's the issue with PlayStation. I know a lot.
And it's recording now. So how did you want to start? That you have like a whole intro.
Yeah, I can start up.
Right.
I can start up. It's just like a welcome back thing. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Full Force Podcast. I'm Joseph, as always. I'm joined alongside Zeke Dilligaf today. But first, before I start, I want to remind everybody that our merchandise is available on the Xander Brand's new merchandise is available at shop.xanderbrand.ml. It's like $15 for most of the shirts on there. They're pretty great. I would be wearing one of the shirts, probably the one with my face on it, but I have not gotten mine yet because I ordered some the other day. But I will be doing I will be recording an unboxing of the shirts. I will be doing what Zeke did on his channel recently and do an unboxing. I'll be doing an unboxing of the shirts. Yeah, relatively recently. That's like what, your second to latest video? But yeah, so I'll be doing
I think so, yeah.
I'll be doing an unboxing on the Xander Brand YouTube channel. You guys can go to watch.xanderbrand.ml for those for more details on that. But with that aside, like I said, I am joined by Zeke Dilligaf, who I previously worked with before the Xander Brand, but I brought him in because I was like, I know Zeke, let's see if we can do something with him.
We can absolutely do something.
Do you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Zeke Dilligaf. I used to do a lot of videos. I don't really do a lot of videos anymore. I got a few ideas rattling around that I might do when things get more settled in my life, but for now, I don't know. I just want to mention that this is the first time. This is technically my first time on this network or whatever, I think. but this is also the first time you've got me on camera, like just because normally we just do audio. So this is a little bit of a first for me.
You've never
Yeah.
done a podcast with me in video. Well, we did do that one for the Zeke
Did
show.
we?
The Zeke show, but
Were we video on that?
we didn't see each other, but we recorded video.
Maybe.
Very briefly. It was back whenever I was trying to make the Digital Lake Republic a thing. And we did the Zeke show for the Digital Lake Republic. Because I remember that night I sent you a screenshot of the video cap too, and you were like, it's red and green. We didn't talk about Christmas. Back whenever I had no sense of design. I got better throughout time.
If you say so.
It took time. I slowly like improved a little bit. I think I did good with most of the Xander brand stuff. So, you know. I think most of it's decent. But yeah, so we used to
I have actually looked at a few of your shirts and have considered some of them. I should switch to a dark theme for this so that the glasses don't
yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's all right.
Or
that
I'll
happens
just
to me all the time.
minimize. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I thought the shirts are really cool because like, I don't know. They're really cool. I've only seen one in person, but they're with the provider that we had before because we previously had a Teespring site. But this new site makes us able to like increase the profits while also not making people pay too much money, because they were like,
yeah, they were only like $15. I might pick up one of. I was looking at a couple. I can't remember. I don't know the in jokes for them though. I don't.
Yeah, that's the only
one thing.
Yeah, we're gonna be, and I've talked about this with several different people. They keep bringing it up to me. I'm like, I have a job. I do the Xander brand. I do school. I'm trying to find time, but we're going to design shirts that are like general shirts, like that aren't like Xander brand related, just so that we can add some stuff to there, so that if people discover them on the T-chip thing, they can be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this shirt.
Some cool looking shirt, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing. I just put on my my JTP shirt.
You made a Just Talking podcast shirt?
No, I bought one from you years ago. I still have it.
I don't remember making one.
You did. I've had it for years.
I didn't know that existed. No, like I don't remember making that as a shirt.
It's a thing, man. I've had it for years.
Remember that? Whoa, that blows my mind. I never knew that existed. And that was the one that Izzy does. No, the Potato does.
I commissioned it and Potato drew it. Yeah, it was a collaborative effort for the design, which is part of why I wanted to buy it in the first place.
I just didn't remember.
I do think it's a cool design or whatever.
I didn't remember putting that on a shirt. I never.
You did.
Wow.
I didn't make it. I didn't like make it myself. You had like a shop open, and I bought it because I thought it looked cool, and I thought it'd just be funny to have it. And I wear it. I don't wear it all the time, but I wear it often.
Yeah.
I don't really get like.
Really don't remember making it. Like I don't know what account that would be on then.
Yeah.
Did I use Teespring to make it?
I don't know. I don't remember. That
was
years ago.
Like I said, I don't remember making it. But yeah, we worked on a little thing called the Just Talking podcast. As Zeke said, he's wearing the shirt. That existed.
A good segue into one of our things on the show notes here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You like to mention the stuff. But yeah, so. Yeah, it was part of Digital Lake Media or Impact Media, whatever I was doing at the time. That was the only relatively good quality thing that.
I mean, at the start, you didn't even really have like a overall brand when you were doing JTP, right? It was just like.
Well, technically,
JTP was just the thing that you were making.
From the first iteration, the very, very, very first iteration was this thing called Zan Radio. I was like 4. And I did it on this website called Spreaker. But yeah, no, I remember whenever I did start the Just Talking podcast, it was just the Just Talking podcast. But I slowly developed this thing because I was like, well, if I make the Just Talking podcast, I can add on other things too and kind of maybe develop an audience. But yeah, I think that's no. I recall it being on Impact's YouTube channel at the beginning because I remember we had Chris Baker as the host at the time, and we had Chris Baker and Iggy Kid on. God, Iggy's gonna be upset for me mentioning them, but because he hates me. But yeah, no, I do recall it being on some channel. I don't think it was its own standalone thing at all. It might have been. Were you there whenever Chris was there?
No, I never met Chris. I came after Chris.
How far back? I don't like. There were so many, and I wrote this on the show notes. There were so many like changing pools of JTP talent, but
Mhm.
I don't remember. See, that's the only problem with like the former members of JTP. I don't know who was on when and who was on with each other. So I'm like, it's all a blur to me. Like I'm
I
sure
mean,
I
it's
can
a blur
find
to
the
me too.
episode.
I barely remember like who I ever interact because they like for me, I barely pay attention to it to begin with, but then like there seems like there have been so many people that they all just sort of blur together in my mind. And just like you'll bring on somebody who was like, "Oh yeah, he was here before. You've been on podcasts together." And I'm like, "I have no idea who that guy is."
No, I remember you talked about it the JTP anniversary show that we did. I remember because that was the
Yeah.
last JTP that we did before JTP Live became a thing. Which was a fantastic idea in on itself was JTP Live. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think live shows are cool.
I give all nods to Vic for that though, because like I did the first one, and then after that, I let Vic take over, and Vic was just like, "Boom, we're doing this." And I'm like, "Whoa, this is really cool." Um, but yeah, no, I do recall I recall working with a few people. Um, Obviously, you are definitely probably like the number one person that I remember working with. I remember Vic because Vic was willing to, go in and take over. Drew and Elena, I remember them. I remember, and I know some of the people that I'm saying you probably remember the most as well.
Yeah, yeah. The
Um,
more prevalent people.
I obviously remember Chris because he was like the first person other than me to host, which you never met Chris. I remember
Hmm.
Iggy because Iggy was like the audio person for us and was making everything work. And they actually had knowledge of how podcasting worked. So, uh, but yeah,
Anyway,
no,
I want us to sort of drift away from this a little bit
yeah,
because now it just feels like we're just two friends reminiscing about things that the majority of people that might stumble upon this will have no idea what we're talking about.
that's true. Yeah,
So maybe we should move on
yeah, yeah.
a little bit here.
Yeah. Which for those of you that are like I have no clue what this is, very soon a lot of like the old stuff will be available through our rebrandsy brand. But I think that's kind of where we can squash the Just Talking podcast conversation for now.
Hmm.
So some new stuff that has happened this week. Pfizer has developed this COVID vaccine, which number one has been approved in the UK, and I think the other day they started rolling it out there. And then quickly after, the FDA and CDC put together a plan, and I think last night they approved the vaccine in America, and they started rolling it out today. Like they
Hmm.
like straight up had trucks going out. Obviously, it's gonna go, and the CDC confirmed this. Even though like this was people's speculations for a while, the CDC confirmed this. It's like frontline nurses and doctors, obviously, nursing homes, the elderly, and then after that, they're probably gonna make it like public after that. But again, they have to get through so many of those people who are more at risk because
Right.
duh. Uh, Honestly, if most of them have the vaccine, I can see, the percentage of deaths and going down because I mean that's where you see the most deaths is with the high risk groups. So I can see the deaths going down after that. It's gonna be interesting because it was like 95% effective, which is good for a vaccine, especially one like that was put together like this in such quick time. Because I remember they're like, "Oh, we're researching a vaccine." I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna take forever." And then boom, they announce it, and it's like, "All right, well, they still have to get approval, which takes that." And then boom, it's out. And I'm like, "Dang, this really is wow. Our government can actually do things fast, you know." But
So
yeah,
is this
so
supposed to be a political podcast?
no, it's generally anything goes here.
Right.
Unlike I said we'd stop talking about JTP, but unlike JTP, like anything goes here. So,
Oh, episode
there we
7.
said no
Wow,
holds
okay.
barred, but we didn't mean it. Here we actually mean it. I've talked about everything here. Um, literally
Who was
everything.
on the first 6 episodes? This is I didn't even know this was a thing you were
Uh,
making. This is apparently
it's
episode 7.
been this has kind of been our constant for the Xander brand. But yeah, no,
Okay.
I was on the first one.
By
This
yourself?
first and second, I was by myself because that was the original idea for this was an alone podcast. Then I realized
Respect
why I
that.
stopped doing that.
It's hard.
It is hard. And last time I did that was Zanzan Radio. Um,
When you were 4.
so yeah, whenever I was 4 and I could talk to a brick wall. But then I brought on who did I bring on afterwards? I think I brought on Aiden from the Xander brand. Brought on Logan a few times, former Xander brand member. And I brought on Drake Dragsoul, former Xander brand member. But I've brought on multiple different people, and we're kind of it's for a while it has been me and Aiden regularly, but I was like, hey, I need to record an episode because we haven't had one in a while. So I might as well get Zeke on because like we haven't been in a podcast together. Me and Zeke can vibe in a podcast. I know that. Like
Yeah.
of all the people that like I can straight up do a podcast with and be like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is cool. This is just a laid back conversation. It's me and you because like duh.
Yeah.
We did it for
We've
so
got that kind of
long.
history, yeah.
Yeah, we did it for so long. It's just like boom, 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 boom. But yeah, so the COVID vaccine's out. How do you feel about that, Zeke?
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pro vaccine. I think anyone that isn't is foolish, and it's not. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too. I don't know anything about this particular. Like, I don't know how much of testing they've done of this, and I hope that I hope that it works and that everything turns out well. Of course, just because this virus has been a huge problem for everyone it's affected, and it's pretty much affected everyone. Uh, so this is good news if it turns out to be good news, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like because there always is that over like that under that little bit of concern like yeah, I'm like pro vac because this is like the thing that I was struggling with. I was like, I'm pro vaccine, but like I don't know how much I trust this. It was quickly developed, number one. Number two, um, the people that originally that we our government also was like, hey, there's this thing and this thing available for COVID, and then they ended up not being good ideas. But like the
Yeah, I
type of
remember
people
Regeneron.
yeah, the type of people that are now that are approving it now, I feel more safe with because it's the FDA and the CDC, and there was pushback from the White House to put it out, which makes me feel more confident about it. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci said that it was said that it was good after he had said that it was bad. So he has had to retract a lot of statements.
Who's Dr.
Speak
Fauci?
He's the guy that like led the U.S. response to the AIDS pandemic
Oh,
and
okay.
or epidemic. Technically, it's epidemic because it was not a pandemic. But and then he also like has been the from the White House. He's been the guy who's been right on COVID and stuff. I think he received a medal from Bush for the AIDS thing. I like how I call it the AIDS thing. And then he also he's supposedly supposed to work for the Biden administration whenever he comes in, and there was also talk of him being fired by Trump. And he's honestly been that type of person that's been like, yeah, I'm gonna speak the facts. And he's done interviews and stuff without getting approval and stuff. So, and he's honestly a guy that knows what he's talking about. Whenever you hear the guy speak, you saw him facepalm whenever the president asked about ingesting ingesting bleach.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't help but laugh at that. Like, of all the things. But yeah, so we have a COVID-19 vaccine now, which is fantastic. But speaking of Trump, because I mentioned Trump, there was actually this rally, this Trump
So
rally.
this
I don't.
is a political podcast.
Sometimes this is just a headline, so I'm mentioning it. But yeah, there was a Trump rally. I don't think it was officially endorsed by the Trump campaign, so that gives him a better image, I guess, in the campaign. But they were tearing down like Black Lives Matter stuff. They rioted in a church. This was happening in Washington. So Washington D.C.
Washington
by the
State?
way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
I had to
makes more
specify.
sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had to specify. Not Washington State. That wouldn't make any sense at all. Because what would
Yeah.
that be? But yeah. So and like the mayor of DC was like, "Oh, it's a bad thing." I'm just reading through. I'm just skimming through this article really quickly. But yeah. So yeah, that happened. There were some black churches hit over the weekend. How do you feel
Not
about that
good.
headline, Zeke?
Not good. I mean, like I said, a lot of the things you've brought to my attention news-wise are things that I'm not, because I don't really follow a lot of politics, which is not the best thing. Like a lot of people will say that, and I should probably pay a bit more attention, but I don't know. Everything's screwy. I mean, from the gist of what you've just told me, yeah, obviously these are not good things in the best way that I can define good, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's not
yeah,
objectively like not even like picking sides here. Like that's not good.
yeah. I mean, riots in general, like, you don't solve anything with violence. It's just been proven time and time again.
Yep, and tons of like civil rights activists even spoke against rioting and stuff. So like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
lot of people will try to use them to promote those, and it's like, yeah, but they spoke out against what you're doing. I also didn't really keep up with the news a lot either, and I still really don't. I just kind of Googled before the show, uh, like news headlines, so I could find these. But no, I
Yeah,
didn't
you
really keep
really
up with
wanted
the
this
news.
podcast to be topical and also dated.
Well, it comes out in like 3 days. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. But no, I think I didn't really keep up with news for a while until because like a lot of news are biased in their presentation, and I kind of saw that over the summer with the Black Lives Matter movement. I saw the way that each of the networks were depicting it, like see it NBC was using pictures from movies, like it's just like you can see how biases are inflected in the way that you're watching it. So I started finding like a lot of like alternative news sources and stuff. Started reading AP and Routers. I started watching Philip DeFranco. He does the news thing on YouTube, and he's pretty tries to be unbiased with the news. With a lot of politics involved, it's really hard to be unbiased, but he does a generally good job of just doing the news in like 30 minutes and like boom. So that's kind of I didn't really keep up with the news until I started watching him for a bit. Uh and now
Yeah,
I'm
he's
realizing
good. I caught a few
yeah. Yeah,
clips of him in the past.
he's pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Also, there's been lawsuits from the election that have been struck down. Again, I don't want this to be like super political of a podcast episode, so I'm just
You
gonna
just
leave it at
really got to
that.
get through these show notes, huh?
I literally started going through all of these headlines, and I'm like, well, now I gotta find stuff that's like not political because this
Right.
is
Yeah.
going.
Let's talk about video games. Cyberpunk
Yeah, let's talk.
2077.
Yeah, let's
I
do this.
I have a friend who's been incredibly excited about that game, and I think he's played it, but he hasn't shared his thoughts on it yet. But I have definitely seen some things about how it's just like you just can't handle that because it's
Yeah,
too
I
big of a
saw it.
game.
I saw it too. Whenever I saw the headline, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like a big thing." But yeah, like PlayStation is starting to give refunds on it, like no questions asked.
Mm.
I don't know what Xbox is doing, but apparently that's the issue with PlayStation. I know a lot of people are like, "I'm not having any issues. This game is running great for me," but a lot of people are having issues, and they're
Interesting.
documenting it.
I know
So
about this from
it's
I think it was like Dolan Dark or something. There was some meme channel that did a video about 2077 on console, and they interspersed like actual clips with like clips from games from 2001, or they
yeah,
like edited the clips so it looked like there were textures missing, like blatantly obvious, like really bad. Like
yeah.
they made sport of this game apparently having issues at launch, which like a lot of games will have issues at launch. But I mean, also
I
this game has been in like production or whatever for years. Like this is something that I've known about from like the teaser from
that's
years ago, and
the
my friend has been very excited about it. And I hope he got the experience he expected. But like I said, I haven't actually heard anything from him about it, and I don't plan on playing it myself, even though I could probably run it on my PC. But I don't really feel like spending
see
$60 right now.
that's that's my thing about it, or the comment you were making about it being in development for so long. Like they kept delaying it and delaying it, and there was
Hmm.
it was obvious that there was an issue here with it. And they eventually said, all right, let's stop delaying it. Let's just put out a crappy product. Which then again, you also have to
Well, I
think
mean,
like,
is it really crap? I mean, like, have people said that the gameplay is bad, or are they just having intermittent issues with the? Because like, yeah,
a lot of
I
people
don't
have
know
been
what the development
saying,
process was like. I wasn't following it specifically.
right.
I just know that it's been in development for a long time. So it could still be like an enjoyable game if it happens to run well on your system. Which I mean, I
Right.
imagine like people with a good
That's
enough PC can
what
handle
I'm
it. But
hearing.
I don't know if they're it's from it seems to you like that like it's people have been enjoying it if it works.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. It's not, I don't mean like crappy game is in like gameplay, but I mean like crappy game is in like functionality. That was
Right.
kind of what I meant there. Thanks for helping me clarify that one.
Right.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's I think that's really where the issues lie for that. I mean, and with PlayStation giving these refunds, it's pretty obvious that they're trying to I feel like if it would have been like a game that was released last year or whatever, they'd have been like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." But now they're like doing it no questions asked, but I think it's kind of to push themselves and to make themselves look better than the other companies now, because they're like, "Oh, we're just going to give you refunds, no questions asked about this." And they're trying to make themselves like look better from like a customer service perspective right now, because they're trying to push the PS5, which now has a all-time record for PlayStation, which is crazy. Um, and so honestly,
Because yeah, the PS5 like sold out like everywhere
yeah,
immediately, right? Yeah.
yeah, and I think that I don't know why Microsoft is not pushing for the I don't know why Microsoft's not pushing for them to get refunds and stuff too, because like they're also pushing out a new console. Series, I think it's actually out already, just like the PlayStation 5. But yeah, and those are two things that had been in development for a while too. um and I saw all of this stuff like as far as some of the new like developments that they were making. They started. I think they got Epic Games involved with some of the graphics developments for some of the developments that they made with the systems themselves. Because I think that
For what?
for the
2077
PlayStation
or for the PlayStation in
PlayStation, yeah.
general?
Like PlayStation, I think there was PlayStation, Xbox, and they were also doing some sort of like thing with Microsoft for Windows where they wanted to make gameplay better, obviously. So they were like, "Oh, here's a new like whole graphics engine that all of these systems are now going to start running." And I think Epic Games was involved in with that, if I'm not mistaken. So
Interesting.
yeah, because
I mean,
they have.
Epic likes to dig their fingers into everything they can.
Oh yeah, well you have to realize. Oh shoot, it's Unreal. Yeah, Unreal Engine did it, which Epic Games owns
Epic owns, yeah,
Unreal.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's which is really cool. Like Epic Games has really kind of grown because everybody knew it as like this company that does Fortnite, and then people were like, "Oh yeah, they're also the people that do Unreal Engine," and then they bought out Rocket League. I think Epic Games has kind of been slowly growing, and now they're leading
They
this
certainly
lawsuit.
have been. They have been growing. I don't know if like they've been growing in a good direction or a bad. I've heard a lot of negative sort of views on this, especially because of the whole idea of them getting, because they like to get exclusive licenses on games, which people get very annoyed about. Because there were some issues with just like the Epic launcher potentially being like spyware, or just like them not even wanting to have the Epic launcher in the first place, because like Steam already has just a massive library where it can sell anyone's games. But now Epic sort of introduced the idea of just like, now you have to have a dozen different launchers to play the games you want to play, because like you have to have the right launcher for the right game. And like, so they're buying like exclusive licenses for these games. I have a huge problem with exclusive licenses in general for a lot of things, just because it's like they're sort of monopolizing the content in a way that's like, it's basically just like they're buying the rights to have this thing, and they're saying that like the only way to experience this thing is to do it in our way. And then it's just like, it's kind of ridiculous sometimes.
I mean, yeah, that's just like, yeah, I think you're right with that. Any exclusivity as far as video gaming goes really sucks. Like whether it's with the launchers or whether it's with the exclusive to certain console games, those things suck. And I had totally forgotten about Epic Launcher before you mentioned it, which is
Yeah.
crazy because like they have all these exclusive licenses, which is funny because they're currently fighting a lawsuit against Apple because Apple wouldn't let them do their own thing with money, which is this funny
Yeah.
because they released this trailer that's like they released this thing like, oh, we've been pulled from the Apple market because they're trying to have a monopoly. Well, what are you doing, Epic Games? It looks like you're trying to have a monopoly too,
Yeah, it's
especially as far
all.
as the games launcher goes. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's really repetitive because Steam exists and Steam is this big thing. And I think that's part of the reason why Epic started doing things like the free games libraries and stuff like that, because they're like, oh, well, we can start doing these free games, and then people are like, oh, free games, I'm gonna get the launcher, and they start discovering more stuff. It's basic marketing schemes, that happens everywhere. But a little bit of interesting news as we move on from video games to things happening in
Oh, I
life
wanted to
that
keep
isn't
talking about video
politics.
games.
Do you not want to talk about raw meat?
Raw
Do
meat.
you not want to talk about
Yuck.
raw meat?
Yucky, yucky. What do we wait, what was the raw meat thing?
So in Wisconsin, there was apparently this tradition of eating raw meat for
That's
holidays,
quite
and
bizarre.
apparently now the Wisconsin government is urging this is just I saw this in USA Today. Cannibal sandwich scare. Wisconsin officials urge families to pass on holiday tradition of eating raw meat. Um so apparently like there's this big obviously there's this big scare for like salmonella, E. coli, and other bacteria. Uh, so now the government is having to tell people not to eat raw meat because this is 2020. What else? What else, really? What else does 2020 need?
Yeah, I mean that's crazy. That
How?
Wisconsin, man. I don't know what people are getting up to in Wisconsin. That's oh goodness.
Yeah, Wisconsin and their weird
Wisconsin.
selves, their
Oh man.
pop, and every other weird things that they refer to.
Hmm.
Oh
That
man.
that was the last on your list for the news section.
Yeah.
Can we go back to talking about video games?
Yeah, we can talk more about video
I don't
games. What do
even
you
know.
want to talk about?
I'm kind of I don't know. I'm kind of joking because I didn't even watch the Game Awards. My partner did, and
Oh yeah, that's right.
they
It was
were
the
because
Game Awards.
I was working, and I got a message from them, blowing up about the about Sephiroth, because they were like, oh my god, Sephiroth. I don't know. How do you feel about Sephiroth being in Smash? Do you care
Eh,
about that at all?
not really.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Smash person. My brother is, but I'm not a big
Mm.
Smash person. I do have a Switch, which I recently got, but
Oh, nice. Yeah, we
I
gotta.
don't.
Okay.
The only games that I have on it is like freeware though right now because like
Right.
whenever I got it, I also I had also like spent most of my paycheck by that time, and I was like, well, I can't get games. My brother's like, here's an early Christmas present. I'm like, oh great, I can't get games, but I can get the free games. I've been playing a lot of. Whenever I do have free time, which is very rare, I've been playing a lot of Rocket League,
Mm.
trying to get better, and I have gotten a lot better at Rocket League.
Rocket League
So
is quite fun. Yes. I don't
it
think I
really
have it
is.
on Switch. I played it on PC. Like I haven't played it in a long time, but it is quite fun, especially with friends. When you're all on like a similar sort of skill level and you're just messing around, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I find Rocket League pretty fun. I've always found it pretty fun. And whenever I got my Switch, I was like, Rocket League is free on Switch? Okay. And obviously I got it and I was like, yeah,
Is it not
I
free
love
everywhere?
Rocket League. I thought it was not. I thought it
I
was
don't
like
remember.
I thought it costed on PC, or at least it did whenever it was first a thing. I think.
Oh, it
I
isn't
don't
on
I
Steam
don't
anymore. You said that.
Yeah, it wasn't. It might have been free on Steam to begin with, but then it wasn't. I don't know because I remember whenever I first discovered Rocket League, it was through like an advertisement that I saw on TV, and I was like, "Oh, this game looks pretty fun." And I went to look at it, and I was like, "I don't have a job." At that point, I didn't have a job or anything. I was like, "I'm just this little kid. I can't pay for this game." Not that there's not a lot of good free stuff on Steam, but I like saw that game. I was like, that game looks really cool. So I think at some point my brother bought it on Switch whenever he got his Switch, and then I got my Switch, and I was like, it's free, really? Okay.
Yeah,
What
maybe
was
you could be right that it like used to not be free. I'm not really
Yeah, I'm
sure.
not 100% sure on the pricing there.
There's Rocket League. Yeah, it's free on Epic Games. I don't remember. I mean, that's annoying if I had because I have it on my Steam library. It's not on the Steam store anymore because it's exclusive, like you said. It's free on Epic though. I don't
Yeah,
remember if I had ended up paying for it or not. Be a bummer if I did because
yeah.
now that it's free.
Yeah, that's the
Um,
unfortunate thing with a lot of games. A lot of games will switch from pay to free, and it's like, this sucks.
or you'll see like a super cheap sale like a week after you
Yeah.
bought it.
That's me with everything. I'm always like, oh, I want to get this thing, and then I buy it, and then it's on sale. Like that was my brother with my Switch too. Like he paid the full price for the Switch and everything, which I told him not to because that's a lot of money,
Hmm.
especially for just one person for a Christmas gift. But I told him not to, but he did anyways because I had been
Hmm.
talking about getting one. Uh, so he got it, and then like a week later, they're like, big Black Friday sales, Switches, like $200, and he's like, "Oh, I
Well,
already got it."
they probably would have sold out though anyway, Because there's
Yeah.
a funny story there with that with my the Switch that I have right now actually came from the UK because right around oh, your camera went out. Are you gone? Did you die?
I'm here. I'm just grabbing my
Okay,
charger. Keep talking.
gotcha. Anyway, the yeah, because I used to have a Switch a long time ago, and then I just went like deep into debt, and I needed cash, so I pawned, or I didn't pawn, I traded in at GameStop for cash, and I was like, I want to Switch again, but like when COVID hit, Switches just like sold out like everywhere, and like there were a lot of problems that resulted from COVID, but that was one of the things that happened. So I had to like I was constantly checking like is it in stock yet? Is it in stock yet? Because the only way to get it at the time was to be like pay $500 from a scalper that bought up a bunch of them and was trying to sell them for like $500. Which was like I was not doing that. But eventually I noticed there was a UK import for a Switch for I think it ended up being I think the actual price was like $20 more, and then there was like an extra $20 of like shipping and taxes or whatever because it was an import. But in the end, it was still cost less than what the scalpers were asking for. So like my actual Switch that I have now is technically a UK Switch, but it's all region free. So the only issue is that I have a UK power port for it. So I have to use my laptop's USB-C charger to charge my Switch. So I can't charge them both at the same time. But I barely use my laptop, so it's all good.
I forgot that USB-C existed until you told me. I remember whenever I first got my computer, I was like, the USB-C port? Because it has a USB-C port, but it also has a regular power cord. I was like, this is annoying. So, but yeah, I feel like Nintendo had a record year this year, probably from Switch sales because, the pandemic. Just like I think probably the most popular game on the Switch is Animal
Hmm.
Crossing, which is crazy because if we would have like 10 years ago, people were crapping all over Animal Crossing. But now it's like the big popular thing, even for non gamers. Like, my brother bought it for the Switch, and my mom played it. My mom's not a video game person
Mm.
at all. Like the rest of my family, we're pretty into video games. My dad and my brother definitely are. Me and my sister, we're a little into video games, but my mom is not at all. And she started playing it on his Switch, so he bought her a Switch for her birthday or whatever last year and got her Animal Crossing. And that was before you could transfer data for Animal Crossing too. So she had to like start fresh and everything. And I remember that because she always plays Animal Crossing and she's never been a big video game person. So like I feel like Animal Crossing is that game for the non-gamers.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
good.
I'm not.
I never got into it in general. I mean, my partner loves it. They haven't been able to play the new one because they don't have a Switch.
Yeah, that's the thing is a lot of people really love Animal Crossing, and I'm not really into Animal Crossing. And to be someone who most people would label a non-video game person, I even don't find interest in that game. I find interest in games like Rocket League, or I can't think of anything else really, but things that are unique, like there's not another game like Rocket League.
Yeah,
You know?
I would agree with that.
Rocket League is Rocket League is very unique in its format, um, which is crazy because it was originally built as a racing game, and then they're like, let's add soccer, and it's like
Yeah, cause
what?
I cause I think they were when they were like experimenting with it, they were like I remember like a story about how they when they were like implementing the boost physics and stuff, and then like the playtesters were just like immediately figured out that they could just try to fly with it, and then the developers were like, yeah, this is a party game now. Let's just have fun with it. Let's just let you do crazy stuff with these cars.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. I love Rocket League just for that reason alone. It's very sandbox.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's not.
I remember messing around with a friend and just like going into like the options of the game and just like reducing the gravity and giving you infinite boost and just flying around and like changing the game modes and stuff.
My
It's a
brother.
very cool game to play with friends. It looks like an interesting game like competitively too. I caught a few like videos of
Yeah.
like actual like competitive play where people like doing some crazy stuff.
I play competitive play probably the most, but only because I don't have friends. Like I don't have anybody to play Rocket League with, So I just get on and I'll just, mess around or I'll get on competitive. Sometimes I'll get, on casual play or whatever, but most time I get on competitive cuz competitive is more fun with strangers while casual is more fun with, friends and stuff, like you were saying.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's that element to Rocket League. I guess because it's sandbox, it's a game that I like.
Mhm.
I've always been into like Minecraft and stuff,
Right.
and I think probably if I had to choose like a non Minecraft console game that I liked, I'd say probably GTA is one of the ones that I like. And honestly, I think it's just the sandbox aspect that I like about it the most. I don't like a lot of RPGs. I will definitely play a lot of the Legend of Zelda games, but I Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite because it's sandbox. That's just what it is. There's very few games that aren't sandbox that I don't like. Or that I like. So it's interesting. How I've discovered my video game preferences because I always thought, oh yeah, I just don't like video games. No, I just like sandbox video games. I like to do what I can do. Just like I
Mhm.
am in real life. I'm always trying to do fun things, interesting things. So, that's what it is. I think that's what I like about Rocket League so much. And I didn't realize it until I started talking about it either. I was like, oh yeah, I like it. I like Minecraft. Oh my gosh, I like sandbox games. That's what it is. you know, what as far as your favorite type of games, what would you say your preference for video games are?
I mean, like, I don't know. That's hard to pin down because I've been like, I really like, because I don't play games as much as I like to try games, and I like to like consider games conceptually, just because I spend a lot of my time reading or like doing other stuff. I mean, some games I will get like really seriously into. Like I've been playing a lot of a Minecraft mod pack called Sky Factory 4 because I started up a little server with a couple friends of mine, and I've just been like putting just hours into that thing because I get into it every time I do like a sky like a modded sky block is just like my jam because I really like the concept of starting from nothing and like building up constantly like to get more better stuff, and also just like I really like um I really like games that let me think, I guess, and let me sort of come up with ideas and then just like they just work. And Breath of the Wild is really good about that too, because like Breath of the Wild has a lot of there's a term for it, emergent gameplay, where they have like systems in place where it's just like they have something that defines what fire is and then something that defines what like ice is, and then if anything at all involves ice, then anything that involves fire will melt that ice, and you can interact with things in that sort of way, whereas like with like a game that doesn't have that sort of thing, you might be doing like an RPG and you do like a fire attack, and then it's just like you're not setting anything on fire, you're just doing an attack that just happens to be fire themed. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, if you're lighting things on fire, like trees are going to burn down, the grass is going to go on fire, enemies are going to be like lit on fire, and they're going to spread that fire around. So it lets you sort of experiment a little bit there, and then like how the elements interact. I think that's really cool. And then like I like games that take that to another sort of level of like I like that's why I like the very tech heavy mod packs on Minecraft where you can build complicated machines that do um, like automate things for you. So like you start with having to cut down your own trees and like process the stuff that way, and then like you build the machines that cut down the trees for you, and then you build more and more machines that make more and more resources to use to build better machines. And I think I really like that sort of thing. Or just like there's another type of there's like a open-ended puzzle games that I think is Zachtronics does a lot of, that are really good, where you have an end goal, but you can get to that end goal in like an infinite amount of ways, because you're basically building factories from resources, and your idea is to like see if you can, you're sort of like working against yourself almost, because like some puzzle games it's just like you have a single solution, you figure out the solution, and like that's cool and all. um, but like an open-ended puzzle game is about like giving you a multitude of possibilities of like, I want to do this, but maybe I want to do it the fastest way, or I want to do it the cheapest way, or I want to do it in the most compact way, or you just want to be crazy and do something massive that's like extremely like wasteful and just like goes all over the place and just like looks messy but still technically works, and then like you still technically do it, so like you just kind of mess around with it. And I think those types of things are like really cool. But then at the same time, like I'll get random video games that I think just look interesting, and just play them, because I really like games with like a story, or just like, I don't know, because I do like to play a lot of different types of games. I don't always finish them. I most of the games that I play, I only play for like 2 or 3 hours, and then like just to sort of experience what the gameplay is like, and to sort of talk to people about it a little bit. But I always just like find myself wanting to do something else. Even if I like a game, it's very hard for a game to make me want to keep playing all the way to the end, unless it happens to just be very short.
Yeah, no, I got you. You're like me, where it's like very unique in your taste, and what you want to do is what you want to
Hmm.
do, you know, and you want to have those options. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It just fits our outlook on things, like just like in real life, where I just want to do things that work. May they be messy, I do them,
Hmm.
But I I think that's a good.
Your mic cut out from me again there.
I just said I think.
Nope, it's off again.
Okay, that was me holding the space bar to use push to talk. That doesn't work that well. But yeah, no, I was just wrapping up my thoughts there, that it's an interesting perspective, to kind of see,
Hmm.
wanting those options. But yeah, I think that's good on video games,
Yeah, we
right?
can talk. Are there other things we need to talk about? I turned my
I mean, we
monitor
don't
off
have
for
to.
for the color
Oh,
shows.
congrats.
Um, what else is
How
in
much
the?
of the Xander brand have you How much of the Xander brand have you? I'm just gonna just kind of improvise here. How much of the Xander brand have you like actually seen?
Uh, like none. Um, I've been
Okay,
like,
that's cool. That's cool because I'm actually gonna talk about some of the stuff that we're working on, and maybe you can be like, "Oh, that's a cool idea," or "That's a piece of crap," because you like to tell me whenever things are a
I
piece of
absolutely
crap.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's honestly what makes you such a good person whenever we collaborate on things, because you're not gonna lie to me. You're gonna be like, this crap sucks. um but yeah, so we have a few things coming out soon. One of the things that we have coming out for the Xander brand soon is called Debate Gate. It's basically kind of like a debating show, uh but like people actually win the debates, by a judge decision and stuff.
Okay.
It's actually based on this thing. I created the concept because it's based on this game. I remember there was a power outage at one point, and we went over to my uncle's house, and they introduced us to this game, and we would just kind of be put on teams, and we have to argue for one side or another. We get put on those teams. Like, you may not agree with it. Like, it, there's a lot of things there that it's like, yeah, these are not going to work because this person is definitely not going to argue for this thing. But, it's cool to get that victory. Like, it could be something as simple as, like, Marvel versus DC, or something as complex and serious social things. Like it can go from childish to, like, super mature, and it's very interesting because you can have a cast of people, and they're going to randomly be split up into teams. You're going to have judges picked. Well, they would also be drafted out. But yeah, it's kind of based on this concept that came from my family. We are looking for cast members, so anyone who is interested can email debategate@xanderbrand.ml. And to get more information on that, I literally made that email before we got ready to do this podcast. So, what is your thoughts on that concept?
I mean, yeah, I think debates are fun. I think you'll have to have the right type of person to really be able to just sort of like take whatever you're throwing at them and actually like run with it and be able to argue whatever it is that they need to argue. So I think with the right people, that could be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal for most of the things. That's kind of the ultimate goal for most of the things. We're also, as far as entertainment goes, we're also working on getting getting a thing set up for a trivia based game show. We're going to, which we're going to, put actual production tools into. We're going to have another podcast soon. Hopefully, I'm talking to some people about doing some stuff. I'm going to do a docu-series about Defy Media, which hopefully we get interview segments with some of the former members. Otherwise, we're just going to use a lot of clips that are out there in the media, which I have used so far in what I've edited together. We're also going to be having another third branch of the Xander brand that isn't rebrandsy because that hasn't been launched yet. But we have a lot of stuff coming. And you guys can stay tuned to the Xander brand. Twitter, WatchXB, _Xander brand on Instagram, Facebook.com/the Xander brand. I can be found everywhere at Joseph Sim 2003. Anything? Where can people find you, Zeke?
They can type in Zeke Dilligaf. They'll figure it out if they're really worried about it.
All right.
I'm not super worried about it myself. I mean, because I haven't really done YouTube things in a while, and I imagine it might be a few more months till I actually do. Like I said, I've got a few ideas, but there's some life stuff I need to work out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I have to. Yeah, so